So guys, this is going to be the last video of Arc 1 of Season 1 of Digimon Digital Monsters. This will be Season 1 Episode 13. Episode 13. Season 1 Episode 12. This will be Season 1 Episode 14. This will be about Episode 13 of Season 1. Now, this is the last video of this arc, as I stated. What happens is TK and Patamon are laughing and stuff, and they're playing with the baby Digimon, and then basically what happens is Leomon shows back up, and then Patamon's telling them that they have to get out of there, and then later on in the next scene, TK says that Leomon is kind of scary and stuff, and then what happens after that is Patamon's saying that Leomon was always a good Digimon. He was just wondering if there was a way that they could get the black gear out of him that's causing him to be so mean and stuff. And then Ogremon pops back up on the other side. And then what happens is Patamon's thinking to himself, poor Leomon. I know he wouldn't attack us if that stupid black gear didn't have him under his evil spell. He'd come over to our side if we could only find out a way to help him. And then Patamon's also thinking, like, I've got to protect TK from Ogremon, but he's so big and I'm not. And then what happens after that is Leomon uses this little sword thing that he has and slices a part of the tree. And then when he's in the trance, he's saying, I've been commanded by my master to take the Digidestined. And he lifts his sword in the air, and in the next scene he has it still in the air. And then Garurumon shows up and uses his Howling Blaster. And then what happens is, after that, after a small confrontation, Matt gets TK out of the way and stuff. Then Ogremon is saying that, now you've done it, this little guy's gonna get squished! And then, but when he tries to go squish him with his hammer, he sees that the guy is already gone, and then Tai shows up with Greymon and stuff. And then he uses his Nova Blast, and then after that, Ogremon makes a joke. He's like, didn't anyone tell you not to play with fire? Someone could get hurt, namely me! And then he's like, now to educate you, I'll show you who's the head honcho on this island. And then what happens is, after that, he said that he can fight them blindfolded and stuff like that. And then what happens is, he says that, and then some black gears come flying out of the mountain again, and they get stuck in Leomon's back, and then he like morphs into this black version of himself. Then he uses his Fist of the Beast King attack to hit Garurumon into the side of the cliff, and then Devimon, then he does the same thing to Greymon, and then Tai runs over to where Greymon is, and then Ogremon like, I told the guy not to play with fire. And then what happens is, after that, is Devimon's voice shows up, and what happens is he's saying to Leomon that he commands them to get the Digidestined, starting with like the smallest child. Now, quickly, I'll explain that. Apparently, in the first little prophecy about the Digidestined, it is stated that the smallest of the Digidestined will defeat Devimon. And at the time, in this early section of the series, TK is the only young one in the series, but there will be another one, like I stated, with Tai's character bio. What happens is Leomon tries to go towards where TK is, and Patamon jumps in the air and uses his boom bubble attack, but he realizes it isn't working. And then Leomon grabs Patamon with his hand, and then later on, Togemon shows up and attacks him, and she's like, you want to fight? I want a prickly thing too! And then what happens is he knocks him down, and Patamon comes flying out, and then TK runs over to where Patamon is, and he's telling him he's got to take it easy, and then Patamon's apologizing for what happened, but he's also, and then TK's wondering why he's apologizing, and then, what happens is he's telling TK that he was just trying to protect him, And what happens after that is Izzy shows up on Kabuterimon and he tells Tai that they have the constant solution to all of their problems and stuff. And then what happens after that is he's Tai's wondering what he means by that, and then Mimi shows them the Digivices, and Izzy states that the Digivices have the capability to completely obliterate the Black Gear, and then Ty's having a little flashback moment to my video about episode 8, which is episode 9 of my own show, where the light of the Digivice caused the Black Gear to come out of Leomon's body the first time before he was recaptured, and then he and Matt use their Digivices on Leomon, and then what happens after that is they manage to expunge all the Black Gears that got stuck in his body and stuff, and then what happens is he comes back to his normal self, and then after Leomon says that, those little fools are kidding themselves. They don't know who they're dealing with. They're gonna find out sooner than they think. And then what happens after that is, Leomon is telling them that according to ancient legend in the digital world, well, at least one of the ancient legends, in my opinion, he's telling them that their world will be taken over by a strange dark force which will change good Digimons into, like, bad ones and stuff like that. And, the Digiworld's ancient ancestors have predicted that a group of children called the Digidestined would appear from another world, and when they would appear, they would come to possess superpowers which would eventually save the digital world from destruction. And in Leon's opinion, he believes that prediction has came true because File Island was seized by an evil dark power, and what happens is he's telling them that they're in danger of destruction, and now the kids have appeared, and Ty's astounded by that, really. And then what happens after that is he's asking Leon if he's sure that they're the kids that they're talking about, and then Matt's agreeing with them. And then Leon says that it's been foretold in the prophecies that the Digidestined will have the ability to make the Digimon digivolve and stuff. And what happens is he says that they've done that, and that's all the proof they need. And he says he hopes that the prophecy is true because he theorizes that they'll be released once they save the island, and because once their purpose is served, there is no need for them to remain and stuff. And then Matt's wondering if they can do it because they don't know what exactly is causing it, and he's also wondering if it's a force too big for them to handle. And then what happens is Leomon is telling them that Devimon is the source of all the evil that was happening on File Island, so to save the island, they'd have to fight him and stuff. And then what happens is, after a little discussion where they say they're going to do it, they go on a boat toward the rest of File Island, and then Devimon shows back up. He's like, "Perfect! That traitor Leomon is leading them directly into my trap. He's been very useful to me." And then after Leomon says that he's more loyal and better looking and stuff, Devimon tells him that he'll pay the Digidestined one final visit, and then Devimon uses his own Black Gears to make himself grow big and gigantic, and then in the next scene when they're fighting him, Talmon is astounded. She's like, "I didn't expect him to be such a big guy." And Izzy's saying that bad guys always seem to think that bigger is, like, better and stuff. And then Leomon is stating that he's afraid not because the power that Devimon possesses is kind of immense, so he has to be careful. And then what happens after that, they fight him and stuff, but none of the Digimon seem to damage him. And this is significant in the fact that it is the very first time Patamon manages to digivolve to his champion form. Now this is also kind of sad in the fact that what happens is, after he defeats, in order for him to defeat Devimon, he takes all of his energy into one-handed fate attack and throws it at Devimon and says that, and after that, Devimon is telling him that he used up all his power and that his victory didn't actually mean anything because there are a lot of other powerful Digimon more stronger than he is, and stuff like that. And the last thing Angemon says to TK in this is that he'll come back again if TK wants him to. Now, I should just quickly mention this before I end this video. This episode will get referenced twice in season 2. Um, and then they've noticed that the island is coming back together. And then what happens after that is, after Leomon chases Ogamon away, Jedi shows up, and they're wondering who he is. And that's basically how the episode stops. So give this video the best you guys can on YouTube, and I'll see you for the next arc. Keep it digital.